I can go live. We are. How exciting. Okay, I am live and it is Monday Mindset Magic and I'm exciting. Oh, I know. And I'm getting wonderful feedback from probably Instagram, but we're going to carry on anyways. It'll be interesting that I hear this echo. Wonderful feedback. So I'm going to give us a minute to have allow people to get on. Um, I think I shared last week that Instagram is the one that just drives me a little crazy. Uh, it's so funny. The one that just drives me. Oh, there I go. Maybe I can. Okay. Now I'm talking and I've muted myself and I'm now don't even know if the sound is available. So I'm going to undo that little trick. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to carry on and pray that I'm just talking to myself now at this point, which is a little bit hilarious. So we are 5 minutes away, and if you're just joining, we do this every Monday at 9 o'clock, and I have several platforms. So I have two YouTube channels. I have a very large Facebook group in Wichita Falls, Texas, soon to be another one in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I have my Debbie Dobbins Queen of Magic Instagram and Facebook and my personal page and TikTok, which I can't do TikTok live because I don't have enough followers yet, but it's coming. And what I really feel like is so important is to set your Monday up with this mindset that will carry you through the week, hopefully, if not just through the day. I mean, goodness gracious, it's just so important. And I've shared this so many times that everything begins with mindset, absolutely everything. And I have this amazing group, which I started, gosh, it's been almost 5 years now. I started this group in Wichita Falls, never thinking that it was going to get to where it is right now. There's almost 30,000 members in that group at this point. And my purpose was just to be inspirational, to be a positive place for our community. And I was told very early on that once it got to be bigger, that things were going to not be as fun as I was thinking they were back then. And some days it feels like that. And the thing about it is that I want to share about mindset also today from the perspective of social media because we spend so much time on it. And it is a place where you can begin to practice what I will share every Monday about mindset. Because if you can practice it on social media, I'm telling you, it's easier to practice it in real life. Because what ends up happening for people, I believe, is that you get these keyboard warrior mentalities and you just say whatever's on your mind because you don't have a live human being in front of you to have any kind of consequence that you may be saying something hurtful or negative or any of those versions. And so what I'm going to talk about is how we can begin to a little bit shifting 1% at a time into a different dynamic of how our mindsets are and how that's going to allow you to have a more magical life. They've done so many studies on mindset at this point and research that when people say to me, you're just a Pollyanna and you see through these rose-colored glasses, I think, well, that is because I want to have this life that's amazing and loving and fulfilling and joyful and happy and all of those amazing things. So when I share about positivity and I share about mindset and I share about creating the energy that you want to show up in the world to reflect back to you, it's not Pollyanna, it's based in science, and it is truly, truly, truly magical. So it is 8:59, and we are going to dive right into this. I gave a workshop this weekend live, I mean, in person. I say live, everything's live. In person in Wichita Falls with some amazing women. And it was on visioning and meditation, which are part of the components that I'll talk about just slightly today. And it started off with me sharing that this is my new mantra. I just am overflowing with joy about it. And that being said, this morning I woke up and I haven't felt this sick to my stomach for a while. And it's probably because I had a soda yesterday. Stop drinking your sugar. There's a hint in there. And at the same time, what I know is that my mantra when I wake up every morning now is I am I am having the best day of my life. This is going to be the best day of my life. And when I first say that to someone, there is sometimes this negative reaction like, well, okay, I've already had the best day of my life because it could be in the past. Today is always the best day of your life, and you get to choose to make it so, even if, let's say, shift happens. So today, I woke up and I said, this is the best day of my life. And I felt really sick. And here's the thing is that I know when I have tools, which I always want to share with all of my social media outlets and content and workshops, is that you always have a choice about how you want to experience life. And there are tools, as I said, that you can use to bring yourself back to center. And I want to talk about those three of those tools to create a mindset that will carry you through a positive day that you can utilize beginning right now. And I did them myself this morning because literally I felt really sick to my stomach. And what I know is that a lot of you don't know my story completely. And when I shared the story at this workshop, which is what usually happens with a speaker when you're giving a workshop, is you get to know them a little bit better. I just wanted to share with you that when I showed up in Wichita Falls, January 1st, 2019, I was, gosh, I think at that point I was 98 pounds because I had, lost so much weight from having the cancer. And, I didn't have, I had just bought a house here, but I didn't have anything. I didn't have anything. And I had been so sick, and had doctors tell me that my life wasn't going to be what it is right now. That was not what was supposed to happen. I almost died. In every surgery that I had, they had to do the paddles. One time after surgery, they had to do the paddles. And literally the whole time I was creating this mindset of health and going forward. And trust me when I say your spirit, your human spirit has more power than you ever believed that it does. And you get to have complete control over that. Your mind, you have control over it, even though we have been programming our own mind for years and years and years to be on autopilot. You are in control. You get to choose how you see everything in life. And I often say this, and I get pushback from people often because we've been programmed as human beings to see good or bad or judge something as such. And what I'm here to tell you is there is no good and there is no bad. There just is what is happening. And if you begin to look at that, how you're going to perceive whatever experience shows up for you, then you get to determine your own mindset. So when I look at my mindset, and every day when I say, this is the best day of my life, no matter what's happening, whether I have an automobile accident, I wake up, I don't feel well, um, the bank account's not reflecting what I want it to reflect. All of that is just information that I then can either use to move me forward, to learn from, to propel me in a different direction. Because a lot of times what happens is you'll have an experience in life that we perceive as negative, and we bump into it, and all that is just guidance to get to a different road, path, fork in the road. So I went into a lot of conversation about this at this workshop, and it's really interesting how we build a story around an experience, or we judge something based on our previous experiences in life. When the reality is you're the only one and I'm the only one who's seeing it that way. Now, you may get people to buy into your story. That's just a buying in process. That doesn't mean that it's truth still. So, mindset is about you seeing really truly the good in everything. It's about seeing the good in everything in your life, because the world, the universe, God is for you 100%, 100% of the time. And when you begin to look at life that way, that's when the magic and joy and love and happiness and all that begin to show up. So there are three things that you can do that are easy to create a mindset that's going to support you in absolutely knowing that. And I have done several videos on this, and I will never get tired of saying that gratitude is number one. Every day. If you wake up every day and say, "This is the best day of my life. This is going to be the best day of my life." There's a great song by American authors. This is the best day of your life. And then begin with a gratitude list. Just pick five things. I felt not very good. I'm starting to feel a little bit sick again. I felt not well in my tummy, and I got up, and there is this beautiful peach tree outside my bedroom window. It's in full bloom right now. And if you have an opportunity to find a peach tree right now in bloom, they are gorgeous. They're beautiful. There's pink and white. It feels like a sunset on a tree. And I walked by, and I was so just filled with gratitude because there is so much beauty in the world. Every time that I go walk every day at Lucy Park or on the beach on the Caribbean, there's so much beauty everywhere. There's so much eye candy in the world. All you have to do is open your eyes. One of the things that I hear people say, I don't have anything to be grateful for. Well, that's absolutely not true. If you can only find your gratitude is that you are, I mean, I've heard this quote so many times from old timers. I'm one of them now. Any day above ground is a good day, right? You're breathing, right? We take for granted that our heart is pumping without us having to think about it. Our breath is going in and out with us not having to think about it. If that's as simple as the gratitude that you can get to, that's okay too. Really just find five things. If they're the same five things every day, at least you're on the path, because as you begin to expand your gratitude, you will see more and more and more of what you're grateful for. I remember coming here, and I'm sort of in awe of my life, because when I landed here after being sick, broke, on food stamps, on Medicaid, I am not, that is not where I am at this point. This is absolutely not. And if you know me, you know my story. I don't need to go into all of the things that have happened to me, because it isn't about all the things which are magical. It's about the feelings that I've chosen to create of how I want to feel in this life. So gratitude is number one. And gratitude for the present moment is really just about being where you are. If you just stop for 1 minute and go, where am I in right now? Because what we do is we get ungrateful because we think of the past, and then we remember it and recreate it over and over, or we worry about what's happening in the future. Right now, right where you are, if you just close your eyes and say, I am perfect exactly where I am in this moment, and then the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. Trust me when I say it works like magic. I talked about last week a growth mindset. And so you might want to go review that because a growth mindset, as opposed to a fixed mindset, is just being expansive and begin to look at things in a different way. One of the things that I shared about with the growth mindset is begin to look at growing your concept, your ideas, your beliefs. One of the interesting things about us as human beings is we have this thing called a personality, right? You might have heard somebody say, her personality is this, or you say that about somebody else. And what your personality is your personal reality. So it's not it's not real. It's just your personal reality. You created it and then you go out seeking it. Well, what if today you were out seeking something else? Some other way that's positive to feel about your life will shift and transform in a way that you would never even imagine. So, having a growth mindset. And then, number three for today is practice self care. I am such an advocate of self care. No, there we go. Sorry, I'm just checking sometimes. My technology. For those of you that know me, technology is not my my strong suit. I'm getting there. Going out and practicing self-care, staying in and practicing self-care. So self-care is takes so many different modalities. One of the things that I believe that we have learned as a society, particularly in the United States, our Western hemisphere, is that being busy translates to success, or I can make more money, or I can create more, or any of that. And actually, the opposite of that is true. Being centered, being calm, being reflective, having a massage, taking a walk, smelling the roses, all of the things, you look up self-care on Google and you'll have a list of things you can do. And you know what self-care is. And if you don't, look it up on Google because Google has a lot of information. But the fact of the matter is that practicing taking care of yourself. So this morning for me, usually every morning at 8 o'clock, I'm at the gym. And today it wasn't going to happen. I mean, my body just said no. So I had an opportunity to Instagram it. I have an opportunity to take care of myself through this gratitude, through the meditation, to walk outside in my bare feet on the grass and really just stare at this magical peach tree. Life is just delicious. It's just delicious. And if you slow down just enough to give yourself really that imbibing of that self-care, whatever that looks like for you. I mean, it can be anything. It can be out having a tea with a friend. It can be, as I said, a massage, a facial, taking bike ride, taking a drive, going to some place that you feel that has that calming, nourishing effect on you. It's so critical that you practice self-care and slot it into your day and make it part of what you do every single day. That will allow that mindset to shift because all of these things create serotonin, which is the love chemical, which helps your mood. And next week, I'm going to talk about serotonin, and I'm going to ask you this question, and maybe you know the answer. You go pop it in the chat. Do you know where 95% of serotonin is in your body? Because generally we think it's here. It's not. So I'm going to talk about that next week. But today, what I wanted to share is I vision on a very regular basis. And I don't mean visualization, I mean visioning. And so I get a lot of intuitive downloads and hits that come. And so I journal about them. And I wanted to leave you with this journal entry, which I did, read you a journal entry last week that I think is just gives us some insight as to what it is that is important in your experience. And intuition is one of those. And I really, truly know that you all, every single one of you, has this intuitive capability, insight, knowingness, and it's that slowing down that allows you to tap into it. So, for those of you that like to just feel this energy, listen to my words, take them as your own. This is a journal entry that came up for me the other morning, and I think it was a little bit of it was predicated by a quote by Helen Keller. She said, "Keep your face to the sunshine, and you can never see the shadow." So that's perfect for what we're talking about. So I wrote this, and as I said, I invite you to take these words as your own today. My intuition is like Helen Keller speaking about your shadow. She cannot see it. She really only knows what it is in her mind. There's an energetic pull to awareness. Her life was sightless and soundless, yet she could communicate and interact with life so seamlessly and beautifully after resisting those circumstances, if you know her story, resisting those circumstances for so long. I have resisted the knowingness, kicking and screaming, belying the truth of my soul. She is there, speaking and communicating always. No is a voice which will never be honest. It acts as a trickster to distance me and distract me from truth and purpose. So as I quiet my trickster, I can hear my beautiful soul calling me deeper to the center of awareness, calm, ease, grace, flow, abundance, and universal knowingness. Life is saying yes to me always. Life is saying yes to you always. So I challenge you this week to say every time someone says to you, "How are you?" Don't say fine. Don't lie. Say, "I'm having the best day of my life," because it will resonate through your body and things will begin to shift and show up in a way that you never dreamt possible. So, this is Monday Mindset Magic with Debbie Dobbins, the Queen of Magic, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye, y'all.